Hey there, I don't know what this pain looks like for you. Maybe it was someone you loved, maybe it was a friendship, maybe it was an opportunity you hoped for. Maybe it was a relationship that slowly revealed something you never wanted to know. Or maybe it wasn't one big moment at all. Maybe it was 100 small moments that quietly said the same thing. Not this time, not you. And if I'm honest, I think one of the deepest hurts a person can experience is the pain of not being chosen. Because underneath that pain, there is often something much more vulnerable. Not pride, not jealousy, not bitterness, just a very human longing. The longing to matter, the longing to be wanted, the longing to be seen and held close without having to fight for your place. And when that doesn't happen, it hurts in ways that are difficult to explain. Because what aches isn't always the loss itself. Sometimes it's the questions that come afterward. Why wasn't I enough? What did they see in someone else that they didn't see in me? What am I missing? And those questions can become very heavy, not because they lead to answers, but because they quietly turn your pain into a verdict about your worth. And I think that's where suffering often becomes lonelier, because it's one thing to grieve being overlooked. It's another thing entirely to begin overlooking yourself, to start treating another person's choice as the final word on who you are. And maybe that's what you've been carrying. Not just sadness, but the exhausting work of trying to understand why your love wasn't returned, why your effort wasn't matched, why your loyalty wasn't valued. Why someone you would have chosen chose differently. And I wish I could tell you there was always an explanation that made everything make sense. But sometimes there isn't. Sometimes people leave. Sometimes feelings change. Sometimes life unfolds in ways that feel unfair. And sometimes the answer you're left with is simply that another person's choice belonged to them, not because you lacked value, not because you failed some invisible test, but because human hearts are complicated and painful things happen even to people who loved sincerely. I know that may not take away the ache, because the truth is, being unchosen can feel deeply personal. It can make you question things you were never questioning before. It can make you wonder whether you'll always be the one who cares more, the one who stays longer, the one who is appreciated but not preferred. And if you've been carrying fears like that, I hope you know they deserve compassion, not shame. Because anyone who has loved deeply knows something about this kind of sorrow. Anyone who has hoped knows something about disappointment. Anyone who has opened their heart knows something about vulnerability. You're not strange for hurting. You're human. And I think one of the hardest things to accept is that being chosen by someone else and being valuable are not the same thing, because they can feel like the same thing, but they're not. There are beautiful people who were not chosen, kind people, faithful people, people who gave their best, people who loved honestly, and their value did not disappear because someone else couldn't hold it. Their worth did not shrink because someone else walked away, and neither does yours. I know that's difficult to believe when your heart is aching. I know pain has a way of making everything feel personal, but please don't rush yourself out of this grief. Don't tell yourself you should be over it by now. Don't shame yourself for caring, and don't turn your tenderness into evidence that you were foolish. You weren't foolish. You were hopeful. There's a difference, and hope is a beautiful thing, even when it encounters disappointment. So if tonight you're sitting with the quiet sadness of not being chosen, I hope you'll remember this. Someone else's inability to choose you is not proof that you are hard to love. It is not proof that you are forgettable, and it is not proof that you must spend the rest of your life trying to earn what should never have required earning in the first place. You don't have to make yourself smaller. You don't have to become less caring, and you don't have to punish yourself for having a heart that was willing to love. For now, you can simply acknowledge that this hurt mattered, that what you hoped for mattered, and that you mattered in it too. And while your heart finds its way through all of this, you don't have to carry the weight of it alone. I'm here with you, and for tonight, that's enough. You are still worthy of being chosen, but even more than that, you are worthy whether or not someone else recognized it.